What's going on, everybody? Greg Hickman here from Alt Agency at altagency.com. And in this video, I want to break down the 4 biggest mistakes that I see people making when they go to productize their services. Now, if you're new to this channel, I release a new video every single Thursday on how to automate, systematize, and scale your agency. So be sure to click that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. All right, guys. So like I said, in this video, I want to break down the 4 biggest mistakes that I see people making when they are building a productized service. Now, I have a lot of other videos on what productized services are and where you should start. I'll link those up in the comment section below. But at a high level, for the sake of this conversation, really quickly, a productized service, at least in my mind, is a service that is packaged up in a way where it has a fixed scope, fixed deliverables, typically a fixed turnaround time, and usually a fixed price. Now, some people will have a couple different pricing options, but really the thing that I want you to take away here is that when something is productized, the deliverable is fixed. And so let's think about that as your client wants a specific outcome and your solution is packaged up, and that's all you sell is the go-to process to get that result that they're looking for. You don't make a unique solution every single time to get to that result. You map out your process, and that's what a productized service really is. So think of it as a fixed service, fixed solution, fixed scope service, fixed scope solution. All right, now that we got that out of the way, the 4 biggest mistakes that I see people making when going to productize their service. The first one is that they actually productize too soon. So all of the productized services and the owners of companies that are more productized that I know all had a little bit more of a general background. Many of you have probably heard the concept of a T-shaped business owner or a T-shaped specialization. That's where you have like broad experience, but you go deep in one. So your experience, almost like you're a generalist, you've gone kind of wider in your experience and skill set and offering before, but you've chosen to specialize in one area and take that area really, really deep, thus making a T-shape. So those people that kind of have that broad area of expertise or the generalist experience, that they had enough of it to determine where they wanted to specialize, those are typically the best services, because when you specialize, you understand how your specialty impacts the greater whole. And the services, the owners that can do that really understand how their one specialty, that one deep specialization can impact the greater aspect of a client's business, typically you can translate how that will be more valuable, and you can have more of a premium service than, say, like a commodity-based pricing. So the first thing is that you actually try to productize too soon because you don't have enough of the broad experience as possible. Now, as with all things, there are exceptions to the rule, but in most cases, if you've been in an agency for a while and you've been kind of a full service provider, you probably have enough of the skill sets to then specialize and start to productize something. But if you're just out of school and you've never even served a client before and you're not quite sure what you want to do, then jumping into a productized solution might be a little bit more difficult for you because you haven't done enough work to really know what to productize, if that makes sense. And my last point on that is, because you have a lot of experience doing different things that lead you into knowing what to productize, often you find yourself, because you have that experience, identifying the loopholes, the things that most people overlook that allow that solution to be achieved in a shorter time, more efficiently, etc. So mistake number 1, trying to productize too soon. All right, the second biggest mistake, and this is really around when you are going to launch your productized service, it is kind of having it all mapped out before you launch. So with our clients, we help them map out what it's going to be, but then sell their new clients into a pilot program or a beta experience, if you will. And they take what they believe to be the process and they take real paying clients through it at often a little bit of a discounted rate to flesh out their own process and methodology in getting the client to the result. You sell it as such. We're not trying to trick anybody that we have done something we haven't, or selling them something we haven't done before. But the thing that I see the most is you can have a great theory as to what the Productize service should look like or what it should include or not include. But until you've actually tried to take a paying customer or client through that experience, you're going to likely miss things. So instead of trying to spend 6 months planning before launching, I'd rather you figure out what it's going to be in the next 2 weeks and start taking a handful of clients through it, and through iteration get to what it actually should be. So the biggest mistake is trying to finish everything, the whole plan, exactly how it's all going to work out before ever launching. All right, guys, that brings us to the third mistake, and that is breaking your own rules as to what is included in that fixed scope of your Productize service. So if you have deliverables of A, B, and C, and a client comes along and says, hey, I really like what you're doing. I want A, B, and C, but can you add D? Can you add that as well? And the more that you say yes to those deals, the less of a Productize service you have. So if you're looking to have the benefits of a Productize service, the predictability, the more streamlined sales process, the more streamlined fulfillment process, all of the benefits that come from a Productize service actually go away when you start breaking your own fixed scope of deliverables for the Productize service just to make the deal. And lastly, that brings us to mistake number 4, which is just taking on the wrong client. So if your Productize service is packaged and priced for a small to medium-sized organization, and then you have a large organization come and want the same thing, likely it's not going to be a perfect fit. So you will probably need to either have a unique version of that service designed for a larger organization. For example, say you had a Productize service where you optimize their website for conversion, like all of their web pages for conversion or for SEO or what have you, and you deal with a small to medium-sized business who on average has 10 to 12 pages to review, but then a LinkedIn comes to you and they have thousands of different page templates that you need to review. For that price, it's going to be a little bit off. So that's where the whole fixed scope comes in. Your fixed scope should be relevant and relative to the type of person you are serving. And so that also helps you on the marketing and fulfillment side, because it should help you align with what types of clients are going to be a good fit for it and not. You can't force every single type of client, in most cases, small and big, into the same service if it was designed for a small business. So that in mind, when you productize, you're still probably going to get opportunities from organizations that maybe don't fit the bill for your Productize service, and you're going to be presented with a choice. Do you give them a custom bid and do custom work, which is totally an option if that's the path you want to go, or do you use that as a sign that it's actually not the right fit and you're only going to serve people that really need and fit your fixed scope solution that is your Productize service? So that's all I got for you today. Let's recap the 4 biggest mistakes. The first is that you try to productize too soon without enough experience. Number 2 is actually trying to plan it all out perfectly before ever launching. Number 3 is making exceptions to the fixed scope, so breaking the Productize service that you've designed. And number 4 is to serve the wrong client in that Productize service. Now, I hope you guys found this well. Like I said, linked up below, there are a handful of other videos you can check out where I talk more in depth about where to start with productizing your business. And if everything I'm saying is really jiving with you, I'd like to invite you to a 27-minute training where I walk you through the 3 steps that we went through to really start to productize our knowledge and turn our agency into a really more of a productized consulting and coaching business, which gave us a second revenue stream to expand the number of clients we served without increasing our hours. So check out the link below for that free training. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll catch you in the next episode.